Christina, like I don't think I've seen any other women's player as a 9 that is so powerful running in behind and so strong physically, intelligent to make those runs. It was the dream because I put myself in a situation from the age of 16, 17 to move out there, and now the league had started. It was like the dream was coming true. When you're in that camp, everyone was divided.
Okay,
because it's not like the England team of today. Like everyone's unified, and it doesn't matter what team you play on because you come together.
Yeah,
it was like that. We were playing Arsenal, and every time we played Arsenal was my team.
Yeah,
and I just wanted to have the best game of my life to get recognised, to try and get scouted by them. I guess the emotion of scoring your first goal in a World Cup, I took it off and kissed it and just kept running and kissing it because I was so grateful this was the boot that scored the goal. So yeah, I kind of planned it, but I added the kiss in just of pure joy. I go on Twitter, X now at the time, and I got battered saying, get back in the kitchen, all kinds of horrible stuff.
Nasty,
and it really knocked your confidence. Why am I doing this? I remember playing against Man City and Lucy Bronze, and I went to run past her and she just went... Wham. So I was like, okay, I think my time's up now. So thanks, Lucy, you made me retire.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome to Crossways. Ian right here with Steph Houghton, and I've got to say, a very, very special guest. Very pleased to have her on. She's one of the greatest. I admire her deeply, and I'm just pleased that she's come onto the show finally.
117 caps for England, just the 46 goals. It is the legend, my hero as well, Kelly Smith. Welcome,
Smith.
Kel.
Thank you for having me.
Kelly Kels.
We're so excited.
We're very excited, Kels.
Yeah.
I can't even lie. Because, when you speak to anybody, especially any of the Lionesses, and you talk about any like icons and legends and who they looked up to a lady, it's Kelly Smith. It's amazing the legacy you've left in this game. To be honest, Kel's amazing. I'm so proud to be a friend.
Thank you. No, likewise. I think it's nice. I guess when I was growing up as a kid playing, you never imagine reaching the goals or the levels that I did. All I tried to do was just be the best version of myself every day. I love football. I lived and breathed it from a very young age. And once I knew there was an England team, that was my goal, my ambition to play for that team.
When did you first know that there was an England team? How old would you have been?
I think it was probably about 16. I remember going to watch them play at Watford Football Club. My dad saw that there was a game in the local newspaper that England were playing Germany, and he was like, let's go and watch it. And I couldn't believe it because women's football wasn't on TV at that time. And I was playing with boys growing up, so it was never known to me that there was an England women's football team. I just watched the men all the time.
Who would have been on that team then, Kelly, like England-wise?
Jill Coulthard, Debbie Bampton, Kerry Davis.
Legends,
I think Kaz Walker was potentially on that team too. I just looked up to them and was like, wow, they're wearing the 3 lions on their shirt. They're representing their country. I want to do that. So how do I get there? So I just wanted to train every day, develop, just have a ball at my feet and just get better and better to try and be like them.
When you say you wanted to be like them, but how was it possible at the time for you? Because what was you looking up to say, right, I could get to this level, then I could go there, then I could get to that level, then I could play for this. What was it? What could you look for? What could you aspire to? I know you saw them playing, but was it in place for you to be able to play?
Well, there was no pathway to get in. There was no youth teams. It was just a senior women's team. And I didn't even know that was possible. I didn't know if there were scouts out watching, probably not back in that era, making myself sound like a dinosaur right now. But yeah, I just tried to play well every game and hope that there were scouts there to try and get recognised, to maybe get a call up. And I remember the letter coming through the post from Ted Copeland. Do you remember him? He was the England manager at the time, and it was on this FA headed paper, and it was like, we've invited you to an England camp. And I showed it to my parents. I'm like, oh my God, look, it's finally happened. I don't know how it's happened. I don't know where they've seen me. But yeah, I remember having goosebumps, the thought of going to...
Who was you playing for at the time?
I was playing for Wembley Ladies. Right. So I went from Watford to Wembley Ladies. And I remember we were in I can't remember the league. It was like the national division or whatever, but we were playing Arsenal, and every time we played Arsenal was my team. And I just tried to play out of my skin. Vic Akers was the manager at the time, and I just wanted to have the best game of my life to get recognised, to try and get scouted by them. And I remember him coming up to me after one of the games and said, wow, what a player you are. And I was like hoping then he would say, do you want to come across and play? But he wasn't like that. But somehow, I don't know how it happened, but an approach was made. And I was a big Arsenal fan, as I said. And for me to go and sign for the club was just a dream come true.
You know, when you got that first England letter, like, in terms of like, did that give you like, okay, I've made it, or was it like more motivation to go to that like first camp and impress even more?
Yeah, it was just pure motivation. So nervous because I was the only
Where was the first camp at?
Lillishall.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. I think there wasn't too many Wembley ladies that were a part of that team, the national team. So there was Millwall, Arsenal, Doncaster Bells, players that in the England team at that time. So I was the only Wembley representative going there, and I remember going there so nervous, so intimidated by players that I'd seen playing for England, and just felt so out of my depth. As a 16-year-old, that was my first call up. So when you're going in there, and these women that are established, I just felt so little, but just wanted to perform. And I think once I got my boots on and training kit, and you feel the part.
I bet the training kit was massive though,
was huge. I mean, the sock, the ankle of the sock was up to the shin.
With your calves as well.
Hand-me-down male kit, but it was such a proud moment because you're wearing the England badge.
Did you train well that day? Did you because, you know, I remember I was so petrified. I was so bad in training. I thought I really went into myself because I said I'm never coming back here. So bad. But did you train well?
I think I did. It's a long time ago. I just tried to impress. Dribble when to dribble, pass when to pass. That
anyone
kind of
tried
thing.
to kick you or anything, or was it just like
no, not really, just friendly. Yeah.
Was there anyone when you went to that first camp that like you thought, oh, they're going to look after us? Like
no, it was very intimidating. It was a
really?
horrible environment to go into because there was massive
the rivalry,
like Millwall.
Doncaster Bells.
Hated Arsenal. Doncaster Bells were rivals. So it's when you're in that camp, everyone was divided.
Okay.
It's not like the England team of today. Like everyone's unified, and it doesn't matter what team you play on because you come together, unite, and you're England now. Forget about the clubs. It was like that.
That's crazy because I always remember my first England camp, and we played Germany away. I don't know if you can remember, and we got beat like 5 or 6-0, and it was my first camp, and I got called up, and I was so nervous, but. You and Faye were like brilliant with us, and they were just like, you were just like, just enjoy your football. We're here if you need us. And I was just like, you know what, that actually really calmed us down. So for you to have the career you did on that first camp and not have anyone to really kind of put an arm around you, just shows
I think when you go into an environment like that where you're kind of not welcome, but you're just made to be like, you need to prove yourself kind of thing, and not really respected, and there was no one to look after you. So I think me and Faye probably had similar situations, so we kind of took it on ourselves that new players coming into the team, make them feel warm and welcome, because it's a scary environment to come into. The best women's footballers in England, you know, you have to feel comfortable to play your football.
So you see at that stage of your career then, so you're at Wembley then. What happens then, Kels? Because we know America comes into the picture soon. But what's happening with your league football at that stage? Where are you playing? How's it going? You still at Wembley?
Still at Wembley. And then an approach come from Arsenal. Vic Akers said he wanted to sign me, and that was like, what? So I remember going to the Marble Halls at Highbury, which we know very well. It's a very special place, and walking around there, seeing the history, and I watched a training session. You were probably in the training session, if I remember rightly.
Was he morning?
But when I signed for Arsenal, Vic allowed me to have a picture with you with the number 8 shirt, because I picked the number 8 shirt because of him.
I was number 8 at the time as well.
I looked at that picture the other day, and we are so young.
We're so young with our number 8s like that.
So I played for Arsenal for a season, but we were training at the JBC Centre because we didn't train on a full-side 11-a pitch, because it was 11-a-side pitch, because there wasn't one available. We used to run around Highbury, the track around there, doing up the stands, doing fitness,
steps,
and then training the ball court, which was probably like 8-a-side, and then we'd go and play our league games on an 11-a-side pitch. So it was quite difficult to transition from playing quite small-sided to then 11-a-side. But I played a season there for Arsenal, and I just remember loving the kit, loving everything about the shirt and being proud to wear it. And then we were only training 2 evenings a week, a Tuesday and a Thursday night, and we had to use the training ground when the men had left, so we couldn't be allowed out in the facility until everyone had gone. So it's like you weren't really respected back then. But then I wanted more. I wanted to be training every day as a professional in my mind, and I thought 2 nights a week. I'm at university, at college, studying. I want to be a professional, and then. An approach come from an American university, say, we want you to come out there for a soccer scholarship. And my idea of a soccer scholarship was that, oh, wow, you're going to be training every day, Monday to Friday. You play on the weekends, but you're doing your study at the same time. So in my mind, I'm going to be a professional footballer. I'm going to develop. I'm going to learn out there. So I sat down with my parents and said, like, I want to go. I want to improve. I want to be a pro. And they said, well, the opportunity is there for you. It's up to you. So I made that massive decision at the age of 17, 18, pushing 18, to leave my family, friends, and go across the pond to university. And
because nobody else had done that yet, had there?
I don't believe so, no.
Yeah,
it was kind of a big thing for me, just to up all my roots and follow a dream.
I'm guessing from like what you're saying so far, like your mum and dad were very big in helping you make these decisions and support you, and obviously even the England-Germany game that you went to watch, like how important was your dad in that kind of part of your career, of what you're going to decide to do?
Yeah, he was massive part. My mum, not so much, because she didn't really she hates football to this day. She very, very rarely came to any games and watched me play, because she didn't like to see tackles flying on in me and getting injured. So she would always be at home cooking the dinner for when I got home. But my dad came to every game. He'd come to the Euros and World Cups that we played
all
in.
The time.
He's been my number one fan, and he took me up and down the country. He even drove to Sunderland when I made my debut.
Roker Park, wasn't
Roker
it?
Park, yeah. Somehow he got word from, I think he even called like the FA and to find out if I was playing. I'm like, how did he even think to do that?
That's
because
crazy.
He didn't want to travel all the way up there and me not play. So he got intel that I was playing, so he drove all the way up there to watch my debut.
What was I going to say to you? So you're doing well there. So then how's it going in America? Is it good? Are you getting the training what you wanted? Was it everything you thought it would be when you was going out there?
Yes, I was on a ball every day, training 2 hours a day in the gym, playing games. But the season was so short. It was only 2.5 months, which for me, I didn't really know that at the time.
Yeah.
But I just figured training every day. So the season was so short. And then we were in the off season, but we'd still be training on a ball, but not playing competitive games. So, yeah, it was good. I felt really uncomfortable at first, very homesick. And was constantly on the phone to my parents saying, I want to come home. And my mum was like, let's stick it out another week. So we'd have a scheduled call every Sunday.
Right, okay, yeah.
And then I'd finally, after a couple of months, stop calling them because I was enjoying it so much.
Was it like just like normal college life? So you're just in your dorm by yourself kind of thing with all your like other teammates, or was it like you were kind of separate from everybody?
No, I was in a normal dorm setting. My roommate was not an athlete, so I think that helped. So it wasn't just football all the time.
Yeah, I was going to say.
And then we had a joining door, and there were 2 of my teammates there too. Okay. So it was good. It was fun. We partied a lot in the off season, but that's what growing up and college life
definitely
is about. So it was a good mix of the both. And then obviously I graduated, and then the head coach wanted me to become an assistant coach.
How old was you then?
I was 20.
Was your assistant coach?
Yeah.
And you're still playing?
Like, a graduate assistant coach. Right. So I got a little bit of money.
Okay.
So still living off campus at this point, but just I didn't want to come home because the women's game was thriving there. And
that period when you're there in college, are you travelling back to play for England?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. That was very hard. I struggled with that because you'd miss a week of university schoolwork and then have to try and play catch up. But
wow.
Did people think of you any different when you come back to England to play it, or were they like more like inquisitive in terms of how it was going over there?
Yeah,
like,
they were really intrigued by it, asking questions about what the football's like, what's the standard like, what do you get up to. I think there was some interest from some of my other teammates to maybe potentially go out there and do it because, like I said, training two evenings a week really wasn't doing it.
Because you just took a chance, didn't you? Like nobody else did it. You were like that first person to go there, but then there was such an influx of other players that even when we were like, when I was growing up, it was like, oh yeah, we want to go America and go college. Probably because of you. Do you know what I mean? And I'm actually not saying that just because you're here, but that was the case when you're growing up. You're like, okay, well, if I want to play professional, the best chance I can do is go to America. And that's what everybody's thought was, get to the end of your GCSEs and try and get a scholarship somewhere, wherever it might be in America.
Because obviously we didn't have it here. We didn't have
There was no professional league. There wasn't even sight of it. But then after that year coaching at the university, the professional league started. And that was after 1999 when the US women's national team won the World Cup. And the game went massive. Mia Hamm, Brandy Chastain, Brianna Scurry, Julie Foudy were like worldwide names. And it was so good to be out there to witness and experience that, the respect that women's footballers had. And the professional league then started, and I was drafted to Philadelphia.
Wow.
So
and what was that like?
It was...
How old was you then?
I was now 21, yeah. Still a baby.
Still a baby.
Yeah, no, it was the dream, because I put myself in a situation from the age of 16, 17 to move out there, and now the league had started. It was like the dream was coming true.
You know that gap, when you're saying you stayed on to coach, do you think that was just meant for you to just stay there ready for the professional league start?
Yeah, I think so. It was like a little stopgap that I took advantage of. I mean, I didn't really want to be coaching, but there was something in the air. You could sense that the league was coming. You were hearing whispers. So I'm like, I'm not going home. And obviously I've made a name for myself in America, that I was in the college draft. So
we forgot about your retired shirt number, which was number 6.
Number 6, yeah.
Yeah, so
they retired
first.
the shirt out there.
Yeah.
Nice.
So no other female footballer can play number 6 at that university, Seton Hall.
Nice one.
So it's good, it's a proud moment, because it's a big thing out there in American sports to have your retired shirt. So
that league's going well. So how long are you playing in that league, Kels? Because then
that league, the WSA, ran for 3 years, and the crowds were really big the first couple of seasons, and then it started to dwindle a little bit the third season, and then all of a sudden I remember doing some interviews out a season, and there was whispers that the league was going under, and I was like, I don't believe this, because no one's told the players and everything, and then it was just like that. I was told, and then the next day I'm thinking about, well, if I don't have a job, my visa's taken away. So literally I had like a month to get out of the country because I didn't have a job.
So then
it was so harsh.
You had to come back.
Had to come back, and obviously had a conversation with Vic Akers, and there was only really one club that I wanted to play for, and fortunately I'd kept a really good relationship with him. It was a tough decision to leave Arsenal, but he said, if you ever want to come back, just pick up the phone, and that's what I did. And I was back in Arsenal.
Right. I'm pleased about that.
And then what happened next when you were playing for Arsenal? European trophy?
Yep, that was 2007, 2008 season. We won everything that was on the table for us, the 4 major trophies. So it was a really fun team to play in. You didn't really enjoy it that much thinking about it at the time. It was just win. And like
do you think
robot,
that's because of the pressure?
Yeah, I think Vic instilled in us, we're Arsenal. Be humble, we win. Imagine. But it's not until now I'm older you really appreciate the players that you had around you and the talent that we had in that team.
What was it about that team? Because obviously I moved to Arsenal in my career to win, but like until you're there and you've lived that as part of Arsenal Football Club, it's a really hard feeling to describe, but it just happens. But like, what was it about that 2007 team that like you went all the way?
Yeah,
it was just the squad that Vic had assembled. We had Emma Byrne in goal.
Yeah,
what a goalkeeper she was.
You didn't want to make a mistake in front of her. That's all I'm going to say.
I
hope you're listening, Bernie.
Swearing at you for making a mistake. We had Alex Scott. Ciara Grant, the Irish captain, Faye White, the English captain. We had Anita, Jane Ludlow, the machine in midfield. God, you wouldn't want to get on the wrong end of Jane.
No, you really don't.
A Welsh personality. She would have a right go at you if you didn't track back, if you missed an opportunity. But that was her, and you just accepted that. And she was a winner, and she really galvanised us.
Yeah.
We had Kaz Carney, young Kaz on the wing. Rachel Yankee was in the prime.
Was Fleets there?
Fleets. Yes, she was. Yeah. I believe so. Yeah. So it was just
Fleets. Who's Fleets?
Julie Fleeting.
See, you lot just saying Fleets like I'm not here. I don't know.
You are here.
I'm saying Fleets. Who's Fleets? Yeah. Was she good?
Oh, clinical.
Katie Chapman, like just her and Jane Ludlow in the middle, they just bossed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you didn't want to come up against them because you'd probably get a broken shin or something. The tackles that used to fly in, they were winners.
I think that's the most important thing. Like when we were there at Arsenal, I think with the likes of Jane and like Emma Byrne and stuff, I think yeah, of course, you all win together, but like in terms of pushing them standards every day, I think as a young player going and like with you included, like if it wasn't right in training or it wasn't right in the game, you got told quite quickly. And I think sometimes in teams, probably maybe today, it's quite nicey, whereas actually I think in them days it was just like, okay, that's not good enough for where we are now.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not going to react in the right way, then we're not going to win. And I think everybody was just like, okay, let's get on with it. But there was like no like kind of hidden agendas or anything like that. And it was never like held like after the game. It was just like, okay, it's done and dusted. And I think when you're part of a winning team, I mean, you know more than me, kind of like you do need them personalities, don't you? Just to be able to kind of mix up a little bit and to make sure you do win.
Yeah, Leanne Sanderson was one too. She was a phenomenal player with the ball at her feet. She could do things that a lot of people couldn't do. But I agree, like Faye White was so professional, her standards, the way she ate, the way she trained. We just had so many winners in there that loved the club and loved wearing the badge. And I think that really drove everybody on. And Vic Akers was Arsenal through and through, and he was the kit man at the time at Arsenal, and started the club. So he just drove standards too. On a daily basis when we were in there, and we just thrived on it.
So Kels, it's going well in that, but like the injuries, because you had some injuries, Kels. Tell us about when the first injury came. Which was the first one? What was it?
That was my ACL.
Yes.
I was playing in Philadelphia, and I was running down the wing and went to cross the ball, and just the way I twisted, I felt the pop I heard the pop in my knee, and I went down and holding my knee, and it was so painful.
How long was that one?
That was 6 months, which was quite quick,
yeah.
Because I had a surgery at the time where I had a cadaver, so it was an Achilles tendon of a guy that died in a motorbike accident. Unfortunate for him, but that is now in place in my knee. So I didn't really have like a hamstring injury or anywhere else to heal from. So it was quite quick. So I was back running at 6 months and playing probably 8.5.
And when you came back, was you fine as well? Was you just
was it really good, really fit. And then my first game back, I was playing against the New York Power. Went up for a header with Shannon Box and come down, and it twisted, and I heard this massive crunch and down in pain again. And I knew I'd done something wrong. I didn't know the extent of it, but I damaged my cartilage and tore my meniscus. So that was 9 months out. So that was a hard injury to come back from, having just worked your butt off for pretty much a year.
And you was abroad, right? So you're over
in
there
America
as well.
at this point,
so what did you do? Did you come back here? Or did you get the rehab there? What was that like?
I rehabbed there.
What was it
like? It was very isolating because the support network that we had, even though it was professional, they don't have the support that we have now in the WSL in terms of physios. I worked hard with the physio on a daily basis, but it was just me and him.
Yeah.
And it's soul destroying. We've both had those injuries where you by yourself with the physio for so many hours, you miss out on the team banter in the locker room.
Yeah, just being around people, isn't it, really?
Seeing them go out to train and you're there sweating, you're trying to get back. It was horrible.
It's mad, Kelly, because I think like if your career and obviously all the the amazing accolades and all the caps, the goals, like absolute legend. But I think like for any young girl or boy maybe listening, that sometimes your career's not really smooth and it doesn't always just continue to go up and up and up. And then with them injuries, did you find that was the hardest part of being a footballer?
Massive, yeah.
And how important like being resilient and determined is part of a professional athlete, because that's what you were at the time.
It's a journey.
Yeah, everyone thinks being a professional footballer is so glamorous, which I think we all know with the surgeries that we've had. Yes, it is when you're playing and you're injury free, but when those injuries come, it's a very lonely place at times, and the work that you have to put in that nobody really sees, the sweat and the tears to get back is really, really tough. And
the toll it has
it's
on
like
your family,
that a football career, isn't it?
Family as well. Everybody, family's all worried.
Everyone's affected because there's your mental state goes down. And I think it's important that you speak to sports psychologists, which I didn't have at the time.
No.
I just internalised everything. I just kept everything to myself. And that's where I got myself in major problems.
Yeah.
I think now the way... Certainly I'm seeing from Arsenal, they've got such a big support network with sports psychologists and mental health coaches that if there's ever a problem, there's someone to lean on. But I had nothing in that.
Did you feel that when you were coming back for injuries that because of the player that you were, and obviously in terms of England and England's biggest hope in terms of trying to potentially win things, obviously, say 2007 World Cup, the one in China where you performed unbelievable. Like, when you were come back with these injuries, did you feel there was extra pressure that you put on yourself to be even better than you were when you got injured? Did you give yourself any grace, or was it like, I need to be back at that top level?
Yeah, I think I put a lot of pressure on myself.
Yeah.
Because, you just think I was playing well when I was injured, so I want to come back fitter, faster, stronger than before. So I think I could deal with putting pressure on myself to do that, because I wanted to play for England so bad, and that was my first ever World Cup. So I was like, I want to perform, I have to perform. But I didn't put too much pressure. I just wanted to go out and enjoy it and express myself and prove that I was one of the best players in the world to myself. That's what I wanted to do, and that was probably my best tournament that I played.
And the iconic celebration.
Yes.
Did you think of that? Did you pre-plan that, or was it just like a spur of the moment?
The boot. Misha Jervis, the sports psychologist for England at the time, sat down with me and just helped me with some visualization techniques. So I'd lay on my bed the night before a game and just close my eyes and just imagine myself moving, running with the ball, taking players on, putting a cross in or scoring a goal, and just get that feeling, that feel-good factor. And I was laying on my bed, eyes closed, and I was like, well, if I score, I'm just going to take my boot off and just show it to the crowd and my teammates. But I guess the emotion of scoring your first goal in a World Cup, I took it off and kissed it and just kept running and kissing it, because I was so grateful this was the boot that scored the goal. So I kind of planned it, but I added the kiss in just of pure joy.
Did you plan any more celebrations?
No, but Kaz Carney actually said to me after, how did you get your boot off so quick?
Yes, because it's the first thing I thought.
So
when I saw the celebration, you literally went down like that.
Just put my foot on my heel and it just come off quite easily, and there you go, it's in your hand. But do you remember Hope Powell told me off after? She called a meeting with me after and said, look, I don't like that celebration. It's arrogant. You shouldn't be celebrating that way. There's enough people after you wanting to tackle you like hard because of the player you are, and you're just adding more pressure on yourself. And I'm like, I'm at a World Cup. I've just scored my first goal. I want to celebrate. So, I never did that celebration again.
You know what? That was that's pretty intense from Hope, though, isn't it? Because, like, we're not talking about getting the boot and running into a player's face and doing something what is quite like, well, that's a bit arrogant. It's not arrogant to get your boot and kiss it. It's like the boot that's just scored a goal for you, and you're kissing the boot. It's just like, I think that's over the top managing that was. I thought that was. What was it like? Was she was good though, wasn't she? She's a good manager.
Yeah, she was a good manager. But she was harsh at times when she needed to be. But she was loving and caring at the same time, arm around you kind of thing. Certainly with me, and I think she got the best out of me in my England days.
Nice.
Was there a favourite tournament of yours, Cal? Like one that you just think that was my favourite,
because it was my dream to play in a World Cup on the biggest stage. I managed to score 4 goals in that tournament, but then the Euros too, where it was in Finland.
2009.
Yes, and we got to Germany.
Yeah.
Got to the final against Germany and ended up being 6-2 loss, which seemed like a hammering at the time, but we were in it for 60 minutes. I think it was 2-1, and then obviously we just fell apart. But to play in the Euros and get to the final and get a silver medal was special too.
What about the Olympics? Because
that was fun.
I think obviously we were both there together, and I think going from them England tournaments and going into something that was a bit unknown for us, because we never really thought about ever representing Team G at the Olympics. But like, did you enjoy that tournament as much as probably I did?
It was a different experience, wasn't it? Because you're not representing England. It's Kim Little was in the team.
Yeah.
Was Jem Beattie in it?
No, Jem Beattie wasn't. I'm trying to think who else
Effie
was.
from Scotland.
Oh yeah, and she had a bad knee injury, didn't she?
Yeah.
What's that like? Because before you were saying about it was hard because the cliques with the different clubs. What is it like with different countries when you was in that dressing room?
I felt it was quite good, quite accepting, warm, welcoming. We just tried, because it was a new experience. We didn't, like you said, didn't really know how it would evolve. You're not wearing the England kit. It's a new kit made up with GB colours.
It was weird though, because it was England staff. Yeah. But then you had the likes of Kim come in. But I think because we were with Kim at Arsenal, I think it became easier because you just knew what Kim was like.
So did you mix with the Scottish players and everybody? Everybody just mixed together. It wasn't like Scott stayed together?
No,
then
it was
stayed-
more one whole team, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but we
yeah.
weren't in the athletes' village to begin with because we were playing at Cardiff. So do you remember wearing those space tracksuits?
Oh God,
And
yeah.
we were doing the dance for the opening ceremony. That was a bit odd for me, as I'm not like
we
the
weren't
best
allowed to go
dancer.
to the opening ceremony, so we decided to do an opening ceremony
hotel
in the
room.
hotel. And we were just all sitting in these suits and thinking, well, what should we do? Should we do a dance? But it was just like we didn't really know what to do
Yeah.
ourselves, did we? Until we got the athletes' village, and that was just a
Different.
total.
Yeah.
Was it good? I've heard a lot about the athletes' village. Is it really as crazy as they say? Everybody's just like
yeah, it's just
having
the dorm
great fun.
buildings,
Yeah.
weren't it? And it's all GB branded, like where we were. And you're just walking out of your dorm to head to the food area, and you just see Usain Bolt walking past. You're just like, whoa, there he is.
Yeah.
Just all the other athletes, Jessica
Yeah.
Ennis, just walking, going training. We got tickets to go see different events, which was great because I'd never been to an Olympic event before. So as much as we were in it in the zone as players, you're just trying to lap up different sports and go in and watch them too, just to see a diving competition.
Yeah. It was crazy, wasn't it? Because I think like there was no expectation, but we were doing so well. And then you got a knock in that Brazil game, didn't you?
That's when you scored the goal, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Well,
Wembley, yeah.
I always remember
You scored a few.
Can I remember the free kick,
kick, I
against New Zealand, and me and you were standing over it, and really I think you should have took the free kick because of where it was, and I was like, it's really perfect for left footer, and I just remember going,
I'll take
Kelly,
it.
can I take it please? And you're like, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
But we always used to practice them though, didn't we?
Yeah.
Like after every session.
But you
and
were
stuff.
like Beckham-esque with your technique up and over.
Yes.
Oh,
You
no,
were really
but
good.
you're left-footed. You're Kelly Smith. I should have really let you take
I'm glad
it.
you took it. I'm
And
glad you took
scored.
ownership.
Oh no, but I think even like after the tournament, I really do think in that last game against Canada, we missed you. I think because of where you were. And I was going to say, what was your favourite position, like as a striker or like in behind the striker as a 10?
I preferred a 10.
Did you? Yeah.
Just to find the pockets of space, turn, face, drive, play a slip pass or take players on, spray the ball. I think I was more of a natural 10 than
Yeah.
a 9. But I didn't mind playing the 9 position because I felt like my hold-up play was quite good to
Yeah.
lay others in and then getting behind. I was quite lucky that I was quite pacey.
Right.
So if you were quick
You were.
in this
You
game.
had everything, Cal. I think you put playing yourself down there. I always remember when I came into before that 2007, and obviously I was trying to break into the team, and I always remember Hope going, just find Kelly Smith, and I was like, okay. So, but you were so good at just making angles and like just asking for the ball, and I think even though you were like quite quiet off the pitch and you just kept yourself to yourself, like when you came on the pitch, it was
Yeah.
just, you were just a different person, weren't you?
Yeah, I just came alive. I just lived and breathed football and I wanted to make things happen and win. And I just wanted the ball all the time. Like I'd always make eye contact with the centre halves to play it into my feet, to fizz it in. And if you didn't give me it, I'd be like, give it to me
Yeah.
next time, because I felt like I could make things happen in any game. And I think that's a confidence thing. Like I was quite a confident player, very confident player on the pitch. I wanted to be the one to make things happen. But off the pitch, like you said, I was really quite
Just, what was that, Kels? Just
shy.
not shy and long. Was it liked your own company? You could be happy just hanging with yourself, or was it because you went to America and you're on your own and you just have to
I
see it? What was it?
just was quite an uncomfortable, I think, individual, like holding conversations.
Oh my gosh.
I felt really uncomfortable in like group settings. Just low in confidence in a group, I guess.
Yeah.
But when I was on the pitch, I was just myself and not arrogant, but just like in my own space and just could see pictures and.
But you always performed, and I think that's like everybody speaks about like leadership and how people lead in different ways, and you definitely led like by example, and also I think like how you were, I've said before, like how you were with younger players and players coming in, and like not even just like being there for them, but like actually coaching them. You were like pretty much coaching us as we were teammates, which I think it's such a special skill to have, because not many people A, want to do that, but then B, can't like articulate it in a way. And like I'm always very grateful for like the time that we spent in England and Arsenal together, especially that Arsenal period where you'd come back and you were named captain, but then I was vice captain and you got injured and we lifted that FA Cup together. That was like such a special moment, because I think only us knew what was going on in that season and how we kind of manufactured winning them trophies.
What was happening, Kels? What was that injury? What was that injury?
Did you do your ankle? Was it in the
Yeah.
Champions League game, I think?
Yeah, I think it was my ankle, wasn't it? Right.
Yeah. which you were on fire as well. You were just literally popping it around people.
Yeah. How long was you out for with that one, Kels?
A few months, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, I think I probably was lost about 6 or 7 years of football through injuries, through 2 knee surgeries, 2 broken legs, and ankle ligaments ripped off my ankle bones. So that's 6 injuries there, and then you pretty much take a year out per injury. So I reckon 6 or 7 years I missed. So, but that's part of the game.
Yeah,
you just have to.
It's the toughest part of the game, though, isn't it? I was quite lucky. The worst I had was my ankle. Being out, came down on my ankle. But like when you're in amongst it, then you leave. But there's players who are in there for like 18 months. Like they come back, then they start training, they break down, they go back in, and it was always a tough one to have a conversation with those people, because you're out there playing, you're mixing with the guys, and like they're just trying to get fit. Constantly worrying about, am I going to be back how I was? Did you ever worry about being back to your levels, Kels, when you was injured?
I think I always had quite a positive mindset in terms of I'm going to come back and be better.
Was you a good rehab?
I was very good. If the physio told me to do 10 leg presses, I would do 15 because I wanted to get back as soon as I could. Always icing, always using the compressions to get the swelling down. Took their advice on board, and I was just really good at that because I knew I wanted to get back as soon as possible because I was missing the game. I needed to be back on the pitch for my own sanity.
The game's everything for you, isn't it?
Yeah, it was.
So it's not changed from the time you're a little girl to even like now. The game's still means everything. Yeah,
still live and breathe it, really. Watch football when it's on at every given moment, whether it's England, Arsenal or any game really. In my mind, I didn't think it would end.
Right.
I don't think that's a bit naive and silly, but I didn't want it to end, so I was pushing it to the back of my mind.
That moment when, in 2017, when you decided to retire, like, was that something that you were thinking about for a long time, or was there a specific moment when you were like, okay, I'm gonna like announce it and I'm gonna decide?
Yeah, I think that's the start of that season. I knew it would be my last year, but I never communicated it to anybody. I just wanted to go out and enjoy my football.
What was that? What brought that on, though, Kels?
Age.
You just thought, I can't.
Because you were 38 when you retired.
I was, and I wanted to have children, and I put it off for a long period of time because I wanted to play for as long as I could. Because I remember Brent Hills, the assistant manager at the time, saying, Kelly, play for as long as you can because you'll regret it. So at 38, I'm like, right, I'm getting on. I want to have a family. Yeah. So that season, I knew it going into it, that it would be my last, and just I enjoyed every game, just played with a smile on my face because I knew that it was coming to an end, and I wanted to go out on my terms. I'm fortunate enough that players get injured and have to stop, so I was lucky. I'd had injuries, come back, and then managed to say, okay, enough is enough. Yeah. Plus the likes of Jordan Nobbs was new in the team, and she was a little terrier, and Lucy Bronze was in the national team. These young players coming in, you could see the hunger in them and the desire and the fitness levels. And I remember playing against Man City and Lucy Bronze, and I went to run past her and she just went. So I was like, okay, I think my time's up now. So thanks, Lucy, you made me retire.
But at that moment, did you was it scary to know what was next in terms of that transition? Yeah, massively scary, because it's all I'd known, football, from the age of 6, when I always had a football at my feet, whether it was a football, it was a balloon, it was a ball of socks, it was a tennis ball. I just had to have something at my feet, kicking it or juggling it. So when I was 38, I'm like, what am I doing now? I didn't really prep and plan for post-football career, because in my mind, I didn't think it would end. I don't think that's a bit naive and silly, but I didn't want it to end. So I was pushing it to the back of my mind. So I was quite lucky that I kind of made a name for myself in the game, that I was lucky enough that I went into punditry after that and stayed involved in the game.
What do you think of the punditry for someone as shy as yourself?
I struggled at first. I got coached on it. They filmed me when I went on for Sky and BBC, and then gave me feedback, and I think that really helped.
What was you struggling with most, would you say? Was it just your shyness?
Just the camera being on you and you giving an opinion, because you look and you see yourself and you're like, oh shit. You can see yourself and you're like, are people going to value my opinion about what I've seen or what I've said? And negative self-talk kicks in, and I didn't think I was very good at it. And then you see yourself from watching the video back, and you're like, oh, actually, I did quite well.
Yeah.
So I went into.
It was a time
that.
as well where like women pundits were getting a lot of criticism as well, though.
Oh, I got it, and it really knocked my confidence. I go on Twitter, X now at the time, and I got battered, saying, get back in the kitchen, all kinds of horrible stuff, and it really knocked your confidence. I'm like, why am I doing this? It battered me, and I wouldn't go on social media for a long time. Really, I stayed off it for 3 months, and I felt that did me good to do that. But I know a lot of my colleagues, like Kaz, Alex, have spoken out about it, how it's very hurtful. Yeah. And it's hard to deal with.
So in terms of the punditry, did that like not as fulfill you as much as your coaching role?
It did, because I was still watching football. And then 3 years ago, I think it was one of the Euros, Jonas and I were working for BBC, and he happened to look down at my notes, and I didn't know this until afterwards. And my opinions on the game. He wanted me to come on coaching staff and work with the strikers, and he said to me, "I'd look down at your notes and I could tell that you knew football." So that made me feel good.
Oh, really?
So obviously Jonas wanted to bring me on board, and when my agent sat me down, he come to the house and said, "Look, Arsenal want to bring you in as a striker coach." And immediately my wall went up. I was like, absolutely not. What have I got to offer? This imposter syndrome came in, and was just like, no, I'm not doing it. And I could feel the hackles. Like, I'll go back on my mum, I'm not doing it. That's way out of my comfort zone. I used to play, but I can't coach.
I find that crazy that you think like that with the career that you've had, but I get it.
What was it, Kel? What was you frightened of? Was it communicating what you'd say? Was it just the shyness again?
I didn't feel good enough.
Oh, gosh.
I mean, I even spoke to my agent, and he said, right, we're going to get you a mentor. So I leaned on him quite heavily, just with, ideas, throwing ideas back and forth, because you feel quite isolated in that environment, because you've kind of been thrown into it, so to speak. I got my B license, but when I was with Arsenal for the first year, I was doing my A license on the side, coaching the youth teams. So I just felt like I wasn't fully prepared. Like we spoke about this off air about, because you had a fantastic career, I felt like I put so much pressure on myself to be so knowledgeable, and I shouldn't have done that, because there were so many more experienced players like Jonas and all the assistants. I just belittled myself so much. But I haven't been a coach before, so I felt like I devalued myself.
I do feel as though there's a pressure, and maybe that's something like, because there's going to be a lot more female coaches coming through the game, and hopefully there should be more coming through, because there's a pathway there now. But I do think, like, coming out of the game, even though I had that little spell at City last year, it was 2 months, I think there was an expectation that you're going to be like this ready-made coach.
Right.
Absolutely.
But actually, you're probably like that 16-year-old girl that's getting the first call up for England. That's like part of your coaching journey. And I think no matter whether you've been part of training, you don't necessarily know the sessions, you don't know the sizes, you've got to work with numbers. If somebody drops out, there's so many different factors. And you're thinking... And obviously, if you're working with a specific group of players, which are the forwards, then they'll be expecting this fancy session, and it's just like, I can only imagine. But I just find it mad that that takes something like that to make you feel that way.
Yeah.
But did the mentor really help in the sense of get yourself back to feel a bit more confident?
Yeah, I think I put way too much pressure on myself, like you did, because of the player that I was, and I'm thinking these players are going to think that I know everything, and come out with this brilliant idea of a session, and I'd make a session, a forward attacking session, and then I'd run it past my mentor. And he'd be like, well, why have you done this? Why have you done that? So I had someone to lean on to go through that, and that really helped build my confidence. And the more I did work with the forwards, the more comfortable I got. Yeah. And now I love analysing the games after their performances, and just clipping up certain things, what I think they should have done in this position, or the run that they should have made, or put an arm up here to protect the ball.
Yeah, even with Stina, obviously, Stina's, watching Stina, you never know what's going to happen, but I think her link-up play has improved a lot.
It's got a lot better,
very, for what she is and the pace that she's got, I think you've done well in that respect. Yeah,
it's a credit to her. But I think working with Stina, with Leslie, they're world-class players.
She's gone somewhere else, Leslie, in what she's doing. Every aspect of her game is honed. It looks really clinical and clean.
She's just so focused and she's such a nice player. I tell her all the time, you need to be more meaner on the pitch.
Definitely.
Get angry, demand the ball more.
She just gets on with it, doesn't she?
She
just pulls her
does.
short,
Sometimes I
just
think
goes
she should go down when she's knocked. She's too innocent, stays up. I'm like, you could have had a penalty there. I would have gone down. But with Stina, like I don't think I've seen any other women's player as a 9 that is so powerful running in behind and so strong physically, intelligent to make those runs. When she's on the pitch, obviously defences drop, which then allows more space for the 10 and wide players to come in.
Too many Arsenal tactics away, Kelly.
Yeah, so it's a pleasure to work with all the forwards, Beth, Chloe. We've got Liv Smith now, who's
Do you get to work
such a
with
good
them
talent.
pretty much most days?
No, I get like a few sessions at the end of sessions. Because it's all like guided on loads, which I never had as a player. I don't get that. We'd be training 2 hours a day on the pitch, and then we go and do a weight session. But now it's all data driven, which I've had to learn that side of the game too. So I get a fair amount of time with them, and obviously analyse the games after.
So you're really enjoying your role?
To be back to working at the club that I love, it's something super special, and I think the coaching staff have been really supportive of me. Renee, who is the manager, she used to be in the academy when I was a player at Arsenal, and I was her assistant coach when she was in the academy.
Oh wow.
So it's now like roles are reversed.
Full circle.
Brilliant. We've got a really good relationship, me and Renee, and she's Arsenal through and through too. You can see sometimes when she gives her team talk, she's so passionate about Arsenal because she moved from Holland, from the Netherlands to come to Arsenal because there was no pathway over there, and it gave her so much, and she's fallen in love with the club. Nice. So you see in her speeches, she sometimes like gets a bit emotional, which I think is great. Yeah. She's vulnerable. Like she shows her vulnerable side because it means so much to her to work for Arsenal, and she gives everything to the job. She gives everything to the players. She's there. The door's always open. She's given feedback. She's very honest and open. And I don't think I've worked or had such a coach that has given that much time to players and that much honesty, whether they want to hear it or not. She's giving her honest, valued opinion, and they take how they want to run with that. And she just wants every individual to develop and be better, and she's all team first.
Yeah, which is amazing.
Tell us about that. The week leading up in the Champions League. What was it like, or getting ready to play the Champions League final?
Yeah, it was actually quite a relaxed
and chilled
week, because we had such a long build into it that we'd done all the analysis, the game plan stuff. On a daily basis, we'd go out and deliver what we needed to do. I think the players were so clear in their roles, in their responsibilities. The staff knew what we had to do. We knew we were the underdogs. We shouldn't have won the game on paper. But you could see it in the players' eyes throughout the whole week. They wanted it so bad, the hunger, the desire. They were constructive criticism during the training sessions to help each other. And the feeling in the changing room beforehand was just like, stay in the game. We know they're going to have the ball a lot, but when we get our opportunities, let's be clinical. Yeah, we will. And our game changers, Beth and Stina came on, and they linked up, and boom, there it was. And the emotions after, it was surreal, literally. It was goosebump stuff because my family were in the stands. I think the players and the staff stayed on the pitch for an hour after, just celebrating with the fans.
That's amazing.
It was surreal. Yeah, it was really
a beautiful day.
And you were there?
I know. It was like, that's what I was saying. It was I remember they called me straight for an interview. And like, while I was watching, it was the first time I've not experienced when I was playing. Something happened in my eye. Something went boom. I don't know what was happening. Yeah. Especially when Stina scored, and then when it happened, I'd never felt that before. I've never had it before or after, but I felt a different kind of blast in my chest. I was so happy for them. It was, again, nobody expected them to do it. This is why I asked the question about what was it like leading up. They obviously believed, because I think as someone like Katie McCabe, I thought Leah, Katie McCabe for me had a perfect game in that game. In everything what she did, it represented everything about the player she is. The work she put in, the shithousery stuff, everything what she done. Everything what she was doing was perfect for that game. So, and then I was get Stina on, man, because we needed to stretch them. And honestly, Stina came and done it. But like, it was, again, in my football career, watching and playing, that's one of my best moments watching Arsenal win that. Obviously, we done it in 2007, a long time ago, but watching them do that under the duress of, you know, everybody's saying that they're not going to do it because Barcelona are too good, was one of the great performances.
Yeah, it's unreal. And I'm like Leah said it after about Kim Little. Like she is such a legend of the club and the game that it was so nice. And she's not an emotional person, and she got upset after because it meant
Kim
so much to
show
her.
no emotions,
Right.
yeah.
So yeah, it was Leah hit the nail on the head saying this is for Kim because she's been at the club for so many years and given her life to the club.
Yeah.
And for her to not go out because she's still playing, but at her age, and she bossed it in there. Her and Mariona and I think everyone bought their A game.
Games, yeah, they did. They had the games of their careers up to that point, you know.
What's the one bit of advice? It's probably maybe more than one, but like for any like future Kelly Smiths coming through the game now. The game's massively changed, of course, from when you were growing up. Obviously, there's so much pressure from a social media point of view, a perception point of view. Obviously, it's more intense because there's more players. Like, is there any bit of advice that you learned from someone that you would probably give to someone else?
I would say you just have to be passionate about the game, and you've got to want it if you want to be a professional footballer. You have to make sacrifices. Like I missed so many birthday parties, family events because
you moved country.
Yeah, you have to be so focused and in the zone and really be hungry for it to want to succeed and reach high levels. I think the desire has to be there from you. Nobody else can make you do that. And if you don't have that, then you probably won't reach those levels, but you don't have to reach those levels. Do you know what I mean? If you just want to stay involved in football, you don't have to be a footballer. You could be a coach or whatever, doctor, physio, whatever. But I think, just want it and strive for it on a daily basis.
That's the thing, Kels. I would always say when people say, I say, you know, you've got to recognise it because when you're younger, all of us dream of playing football. You only dream of the great stuff, you know, like playing at great places, playing against good players, you know, winning trophies and that. No one thinks about the journey, and the journey is very, very tough.
Yeah.
It's very, very tough, and you know, obviously
setbacks, the knockbacks,
everything like that. You know, so it's okay to reach for the dream, but you got to understand that if you really want it, it is the journey that's going to get you there, and that's what you got. Like you just said, rightly said as well. You have to have the passion for it because it's the passion what's going to continue to drive you to want to do it. So you know, again, Kels, I don't know what to say. I'm just pleased that you came on.
Thanks.
Oh, it's been amazing. You're a legend.
I've got a name of like 46 goals for England, second all-time scorer, Olympian, 125 goals, 144 games for Arsenal, including 30 goals in the 06-07 quadruple season, 20 trophies from 97 to 2016.
And an MBE.
You should be an OBE. If I'm an OBE, then you should be an OBE. It's ridiculous. Kels, can we do some quick fire with you?
Sure.
Have you got any quick fire questions?
Yes, I have actually.
Go on then, what you got?
Do they have to be one-word answers? Or
No, just whatever.
No, well, this one, so your best player that you've ever played against?
Best player that I've ever played against. I don't know if you remember her. She was a German centre-half. Probably not. You're probably a bit too young. Her name was Doris Fitchin. No.
She caused you a lot?
She was just tall, strong, physical, read the game
quick?
so well, quick. Yeah. She was a German captain at the time and I just couldn't get past her. And I was quite young at the time and trying to prove a point and she would just go like that as I'd run past. I'm like, oh God.
Did you score goals against her when she was playing in the team?
And then I was fortunate enough to play with her at Philadelphia. We got drafted to the same team and I'm like, oh my God, she's on my team. I don't have to face her anymore.
Oh my God.
She was technically good too. Yeah, really good.
That's Martin Keown energy that gave me. Did you have any match day superstitions?
I'd always put my left sock on first because I was left-footed. Weird.
And you just kept doing it?
Just kept doing that.
Did you ever have a time where, did I put my left sock on first there or and would you start again?
No.
You'd always put it on first. Yeah. You'd never get that wrong.
No, I still do it to this day with my socks.
Yeah. Kelly, what's your favourite ever goal?
I think the one in the Euros against Russia, I think it was, where the goalkeeper had it and she kicked it from her hands and I was just in the middle of the circle and I just popped it back up and then volleyed it straight back over. Because we were going out at that. We were going out at that stage. I think we were losing 2-0.
Yeah.
I think that goal galvanised us to stay in the tournament and went through.
Right.
But that was super special because it was so instinctive. Didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
I was like, as soon as that ball left her foot, I knew she was at the top of the box. So
Right,
if I
so
get my
she-
touch right, it's
bam,
going straight back
straight
See,
over
but not
her.
many people would know that she's at the top of the box. That's the
Yeah.
difference.
Yeah.
Because what about best player you trained with?
Best player I trained with.
Who you said, you see, like I would look at, I'd probably say, you know what, Paolo Di Canio. Dennis
what a name.
Bergkamp was amazing, but Paolo Di Canio was the best player I've trained with. I've never seen someone so dedicated to getting himself right for the game on the Saturday. You know, in training.
Was that West Ham?
No joke. That was at West Ham, yeah. You know, same with Martin Keown. The preparation in training. You know, when you watch somebody, Kels, and you say, wow, this is where you put the work in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got anyone like that?
No one's really springing to mind.
What about you, Steph?
No, I remember.
I'm only joking.
No, fitness-wise, you were always up there on the bloody bleep test.
Yeah.
Me and Ellen, yeah.
Ellen, Jill,
Jill Scott.
Jordan, and you were always driving me because I was probably not the fittest, but you younger ones coming through were pushing the more senior players.
We were at a different stage where that was like a big thing for us at 16, 17.
Yeah.
If you want to be in that England squad, you have to be fit.
Fit.
So we would just do, you know, when you're
Drilled
saying
in.
about like training weights, whatever Don Scott wanted you to lift, I was like, okay, I'll just do it. So
Yeah. Your
Yeah.
generation, the players that you just named, for the likes of me, Faye, Yanks,
Yeah.
those kind of players, when we saw you coming in, we like, God, we need to raise our fitness
Right.
levels now. So I think that's credit to Dawn because, you know, we could never beat America or Germany
No.
because they were always fitter, stronger, faster than us. So when Hope and Dawn Scott realised that, we were all on these fitness programs that we had to do, not in our clubs because we were only training a couple of evenings a week. We had to go on our own
On your
time
own, yeah, and go and
over
do
the
it.
park or find a bit of
yeah,
grass.
I fill in this like little spreadsheet, can't remember,
Yeah,
because we're on the central contracts and you had to like put in what you'd done in that day and you had to like rate it every single session and stuff.
And did
It
you
was-
ever miss that, or did you ever like say, "I'm not doing it today"?
I
Not
didn't
really, no.
Nah, you couldn't
You couldn't
really.
because you'd be heart rate monitors. Everything was, and then you send the data back
Wow.
to Dawn.
Okay, so that's
you
quite
couldn't cheat.
sophisticated stuff.
Well, Kelly, I'd say you're the best player that I trained with. Just inspiring. Yeah, you and Carly Lloyd
Okay.
from just a totally different mentality. Like in terms of you thought like we thought that we trained well and we trained hard, and then she's out there doing double sessions, going taking the bag of balls out, just going and training Man City. We're all going for coffee. So that was a bit of realisation for me.
I guess it is mindset, right then.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, Kelly, have you got a English five-a-side team? Favourite ever five-a-side team? You can include yourself in that.
And, you've got to put yourself in, Kels, your second all time.
It's a tough one. Probably Pauline Cope or Rachel Brown. They're two very good goalkeepers, but different generations.
So you have to have one of them
Oh
then.
God, I'd probably go Brownie because I played more with her. Is this five-a-side?
Yeah.
I'd have you as a centre half.
You don't have
Steph.
to have
I do.
me 'cause
I want
I'm
you.
here.
No, I
You're-
do
yeah,
because
but
you
you are
were
Steph
former
Houghton as
England
well,
captain
so-
and like a stud at the back. So hard to play against.
Thanks, I'm
For
buzzing.
Man City, and I'm grateful that we played together at Arsenal
I am
and
as well.
England.
It was the best.
So that's the spine. I'll be at top.
Right side, left side.
Kaz Carney on the right, and probably Yanks on
I
the
was going
left.
to
Yeah.
say Rachel Yanks.
That's good
yeah.
balance.
Yeah.
That's a really good team.
Brilliant left foot. Was that five?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
five.
that's a good team.
I'll take that.
That's
I'm
a
buzzing
good
with
team.
that. So, but thanks so much, Kelly. I really appreciate that.
Kels, thanks a lot. Really love you. I feel so just chilled with you. I've gone into in Kel mode because you're just so chilled. Like, yeah, fine.
Visualization mode.
Just
laying on the
visualizing
bed.
just being sat on the couch. So now I'm going to just be able to visualize sitting on the couch with you. And I'll be fine. Thanks a lot, Kels. You're
Thanks
the
for
best.
having me, guys.
Cheers. And we'll see you again next week. Take it easy.